Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm from Dynamic Boards, and today I have got Kellie Hargraves and Gareth Griffiths with me. They're from Ecology Building Society, who are looking for a new non-executive director. Kellie is one of the Neds on the board, and Gareth is the CEO. So really glad to have you both with me, and I really hope that this video will give those who are thinking about applying a chance to get to know ecology, you guys, and the role a little bit better. So we'll kick off with you, Gareth. Ecology has a unique mission at the heart of sustainability and ethical finance. Can you tell us a bit about that and what makes it such a special place to be part of?
I would truly say that there is never a dull moment at ecology for a number of different reasons, and maybe we'll get into that. But actually, I think my favorite way of maybe summing ecology up is that in 1981, when it was founded by 10 entrepreneurial, far-looking individuals who each contributed £500 to the society's capital base, it was because one person wanted to renovate a dilapidated barn and couldn't get a bank or a building society to approve the loan to renovate the dilapidated barn. And so, of course, the right thing to do at that point in time is to found your own building society, isn't it? But that's what David Pedley chose to do. And I think that's the spirit with which we try and attack each day. And I think in the face of the kind of the rhetoric of, cancel net zero and it's too expensive in a world that is frankly burning all around us, ecology's role to be lending its power, both as a direct lender, but also in the authenticity of its voice, its thought leadership, has never been more important because there genuinely is a different and a better way to make sure that everybody can benefit from a just transition. And that's really what ecology is trying to do. We're trying to make the world a better place for people, for communities, better ecological housing to try and bring about a fairer and more sustainable economy.
Can you tell us a couple of examples of the kind of things that you're lending to?
Yeah, sure. So if I think about the beautiful passive house constructed on the banks of the River Avon, that was a 3D offsite constructed pre-panelized build. That's right at the very, very heart of what we do. Similarly, if I think about Five Rivers over in Sheffield, that was a block of flats where we helped to fund highly energy efficient, socially and permanently affordable housing. If I think about a cooperative housing development over in Leeds, Chaco, that actually helped to provide 29 multi-use mixed generation houses as part of a broader housing cooperative. So the lending that we do has very, very high impact. I'd very much describe it as quite niche lending, but niche lending that really does make a difference and hopefully shows mainstream lenders there is an alternative way, and there are other forms of and deliberative forms of home ownership that really don't get the support that they need. And when the government's looking at trying to build 1.5 million homes over the next kind of 5 years, which is looking increasingly harder, I think we've got to look at real different alternatives as to how we can make sure that everybody's got a safe, warm, and ecologically sound house to live in.
Great, thank you, Gareth. That does give us really good flavour. It's good to hear specific stories. So, Kellie, you joined the board a year and a half ago. Can you tell us a bit about what drew you to join the Ecology Board and how you found it?
Yeah, so I did join 18 months ago. What attracted me about ecology was how it wants to make a difference. I came from the investment management industry and I kicked off my career in banking. So I was completely drawn into something where I started from. And actually, I was working with an asset manager on sustainability. And when I looked across the banking industry, I felt ecology really stood out around its green mortgages compared to its competitors. And I could see that, as an industry trend with my compliance and risk background, that greenwashing will continue to develop. And I just felt like it was a great place to set an example. So I found the actual first 12 months was trying to really get my head back into the sell side, coming from the buy side. But what I've really enjoyed is actually the differences with backgrounds within the board and also the great support from the executive team in being patient while I get my head around the different acronyms that they use in banking compared to asset managers. And I think it's vice versa for the executive team.
That sounds great. So it's been a good experience over that first year and a half. How do you describe kind of the culture around the board table, Kellie?
It's quite different from coming from a big global asset manager. What I've truly enjoyed is the emphasis on social need and social impact and on the environment as well. So it's the first organisation that I've really been involved with where its profit is important, or not necessarily as important as the people and the planet. So the culture there is, whilst we're a small team, and that's something new for me as well, based in one country, a smaller team, it's the team behaviour and the support of the team towards each other. It's very personal. So I've really enjoyed that side of it the most. Not saying that I haven't had personal relationships before, but it's that real sort of, you're involved in a lot more than if you were in a board of a global house.
That's great. And Kellie just touched on it there, but Gareth, how do you feel like the board plays a role in helping you with that tension between balancing purpose and performance?
Yeah, I mean, because that's tough, right? As I say to a lot of people, if being a triple bottom line business, people, profit, and planet was easy, everybody would be doing it. And I see one of the critical functions and critical roles that the board play is kind of holding management to account and making sure that we're trying to keep those three things in balance, which has really interesting connotations for strategy, product development, customer service delivery, but fundamentally actually what I found, and it's been great having Kellie because, for instance, she brings external experience from a different sector and overlaying some of those things that for me are really valuable that we don't have in maybe the mutual sector or the kind of the banking sector so much, overlaying some of those principles which are transferable. It's been really, really helpful. We've just done a capital raise. And actually, if I think about some of the advice, some of the real kind of skill, knowledge, and expertise that Kellie brought from her practitioner days, I think that really, really helped us in the kind of debt capital markets as an example. So I think at an individual level, people can make really quite significant contributions. And at a group level, I do think we've got a good relationship, but that tension should and does exist in terms of making sure that we stay true to what we say we're going to do. And it's not always easy.
I think quite a lot of organisations do mention that people, profit, planet, but whether they actually do it is a different question. So yeah, you guys, I know you're authentic in that, so that's great. Tell us about tech and ecology.
Oh, wow. There's not really much to talk about other than our major 2-year transformation program, which is just about to come to its zenith from the last 2 years. I wish I knew then what I know now, but nonetheless, we've got a really, I think, exciting kind of future ahead. So we've spent 2 years investing in a core banking transformation program. We are literally just about to go live with our new core banking provider. Effectively, that'll enable things like straight through payments. It will be seamless onboarding where we'll have clear bank payment rails in the kind of the background, a Salesforce CRM engine. We've just gone live with our new loans origination solution, which provides straight through decisioning and great experience for brokers. And in the new year, we'll just be about to launch our app. So available on all good app stores, but also a brand new internet banking portal. So we have literally ripped everything up, started again, which for any new nets joining us in January, welcome, because you'd have missed the trauma, because none of these things are ever easy. But what this is really going to do is set us on a completely different playing field for an organization and a building society our size. We'll have a very modern IT infrastructure and architecture, which will be, able to be quite flexible into the future. It's what our members told us they wanted, and it's what people told us was stopping them from joining Ecology. And that's really important because this is our moment in the sun right now. Sustainability is not a choice that a number of people make. They absolutely want sustainability at the core and the heart of everything from a consumer perspective, but they really struggle where to authentically find it. And so this is the real kind of market opportunity that we've got to capitalize on now.
So looking ahead, next 5 years, I think you're just setting your 5-year strategy. What are some of the big challenges and opportunities you see ahead for the society? Kellie or Gareth, either of you can pick this up.
So I think it's really being able to offer innovative products, particularly in the sustainability space and where that develops, and offering products that actually support our clients' needs, I think is true to our purpose, and growing the book of business around the UK. It's also being able to demonstrate the social impact that Ecology is actually making across the UK, and being able to demonstrate that to our members and connect with our members. So that's the area that we will continue to focus on. That's one of the reasons why I joined Ecology, was around its innovation. And of course, the members' experience, to Gareth's point, around the ease of use of our technology and our app, and being able to find products that really relate to the next generation of clients as well, which is, something where building societies are looking to definitely have a relationship with and continue to be profitable and contributing to our capital and being a great place to come and do business as well. So, looking for commercial partners and commercial clients to extend our social impact reach.
Thank you, Kellie. Gareth, did you want to add anything there?
Yeah, it's just like dull CEO, the macroeconomic environment. But, regulation has doubled in the last 10 years, the volume of regulation. Actually, we're facing down the barrel of an increased cost base because of the digital transformation activities. Kellie talked about it, but because we're 44 years old as a building society, we're the youngest building society out there, we don't have the benefit of 150 years worth of capital accretion. And so you've always got that kind of careful dynamic of trying to make sure that you've got impact, profit, capital kind of all balanced out. And, and fundamentally what we're just about to do is we're about to shift the target operating model of the organization quite significantly, as we're launching into a digital first world and extending out distribution channels too. I can't quite talk about that yet, but that might be something we talk about through the interview process. I'd like to sprinkle that little seed there.
There's a question for you to ask candidates.
Oh yeah, exactly. And we're in a very difficult, very hyper competitive environment. And so there's some of the things I think that, are the kind of waking 4 a.m. thought moments.
Yeah. Okay. So mission-driven, ego-driven, but also regulated financial services provider. So holding that tension, I definitely hear that. So you're looking for a new non-exec director. Given the mix of people you've got on the board, what do you think you're missing? What do you think you'd like to bring?
Sure. Maybe it's less about what we're missing and more about where the kind of future strategy and future direction probably takes us. But I think, fundamentally, we're just about to try and start growing out the balance sheet to have both more impact, but more sustainable profitability too. And so therefore to do that, we've got to grow our credit risk, and inevitably a perfect fit for this role would be a risk and compliance professional, kind of, focused in on that kind of credit risk element. Possible person is ex-CRO, ex-head of credit type thing, but I don't want to limit it to that. I talked about Kellie's transferable skills from the kind of the investment management arena. Realistically, the ultimate skill set that we're looking for here is we really want to make sure that we have got strong credit risk skills to be able to help us sustainably grow out the portfolio over the next 5 years.
And Kellie, tell us, what kind of difference can a new NED expect to make in their first year?
Quite a lot, actually. I feel like I've done a lot more than I was expecting to do in my first 12 months.
Sorry, Kellie.
No, that's okay. I've totally enjoyed it, actually. I don't think I'd change a thing. I do think because you're joining right at the fun stage, which is the innovation stage, where I think what we've been trying to do is really move the organisation into a position to start to build. So I think, in the first 12 months, you definitely get experience across the entire organisation. It's a small company, but it's very nimble and it can move relatively fast, which what you've probably seen from the IT transformation. A lot of firms I've worked for take about 5 years, not 18 months to be exact, Gareth, So I do think you'll get a lot of experience across the organisation. And I think particularly coming from a credit risk or product background, especially where we do the innovation in the products, coming up with ways of looking at credit risk within those models is pretty key. We've got quite small team, so having an extra experience on different types of product sets in credit risk will be definitely kept busy.
What would you say to someone who says, look, I'd love to contribute, I don't exactly perfectly fit what you just described, but I do have experience of credit risk in this area, or I haven't quite sat on a risk committee, I'm close. What would you say to someone who's just on the edge?
Yeah, it's a bit like myself. So, I haven't looked at a loan book for 20 odd years when I started at CommBank. So the secret is that you don't need to know the answers at all times, but you do need to know where to look. And, and you can rely on your board members to help you get through that as well. So when I joined Ecology, we had a great induction just to get to know the organisation. But there's also networks that you end up forming at Ecology too once you become a director. So we've got the Building Society Association, Gabby, that I've sort of joined up. So there are different ways of getting access, not only from the board, but from different memberships that Ecology is actually joined to. The other key is that the culture of the organisation doesn't mean that anyone's smarter than each other. So we're not that type of organisation, and a dumb question can always be a good question. So we don't sort of shy away from asking silly questions. And actually, if the new person, I guaranteed I ask a lot of silly questions and still do, but it just comes from different perspectives. And I think having such a supportive team, that's where we can actually learn from each other. So it's that type of environment to work within. So it doesn't matter if you don't have the exact experience like I never had. I have a lot of bankers around me on the board, but I quite enjoy that too, because it's sort of, I can't completely go astray having that experience sitting next to me as well. So it's a good place to come, even if you don't match perfectly the job spec.
Thank you, Kellie. And Gareth, in one sentence, why should someone apply to join the board of Ecology?
Because you are going to be able to make a difference to an organisation that's going to spend the next 5 years absolutely smashing it.
Brilliant. Thank you, Gareth. Kellie?
Well, Gareth did actually take my idea, but I'll think of something. No, actually, I shouldn't have said that. I forgot I'm being videoed. No, I think it's small enough but interesting enough, particularly if you're starting your NED career. But even if you're experienced NED career, it's one of those places where you get more than what's actually on the tin from it. And, it's a great group of people to work with.
Thank you, Kellie. And watching both of you, I'm sure lots of people will be thinking, I'd love to be on a board like that. So thank you. You've given us a really good flavour of what the board's like and what Ecology is all about. We've got loads more details, lots of information on the time commitment, where and when board meetings are, things like that can help you work out whether this is a role for you. There's a link that will be just below this video. You can have a click on that, check out the information. And if you're interested, do reach out, ask some questions. But we would love to see you apply for the role. Thank you, Gareth. Thank you, Kellie, for your time. And good luck to those of you applying.
Thanks, Sarah. Good luck, everyone.
Bye-bye.